Hey guys, this is Ashley. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about why we postpone our wedding and diving a lot deeper into that. I made a video that was talking about kind of the process, and I got a lot of questions from that video, so I just wanted to jump back on and kind of recap some of those questions and talk about it a little bit more in depth. So yeah, I want to go ahead and jump into the video now. Alright, so let me just start with a little bit of backstory. I want to explain kind of the why. I talked about it a lot more in this video, or it's over here, I'm not really sure, but on one of these sides, I'm gonna link the video above. So the very first question is why, which is something that I pretty much touched on already, but I will say for a simple quick answer to that is we felt led to do it. We did not take this lightly at all. We were very confused, I feel like, for a period of time about what to do and what route to take, and we just took a second and were just still for a moment and just asked God what direction he needed for us to take, and we definitely felt led to go to the courthouse, get married, have our wedding later. The biggest priority for us during that time was becoming one, and we just felt God pushing us to become one before we stepped into any other journey or aspect of our relationship. We really felt this nudge and this push to get married before we entered into any other stages of our relationship, and before we even we're just considering any other ideas. We felt God saying get married now, that's what I need for you to do, get married. So that's what happened, and that is why we postponed our wedding. So that's a short answer to the why we postponed our wedding and went to the courthouse and got married. The next question is, did we keep it a secret? Did we keep it a secret? No and yes at the same time, because this is why I say no, because we told our parents and we told a couple close people in our lives. We did not share it with a lot of people, so that's why I can kind of say yes at the same time, because at first, before we got married, we did not share it with a lot of people, but then after we actually got married and had our day, we did share it with basically everybody. Literally, we were so excited about it, and so keeping it a secret was something that was not possible for us to do. We were so happy to be married and to be one, and it just felt like such a blessing from God. So we shared it afterwards. That's why I said no and yes. We allowed our family, friends, all of that to bask in the excitement and joy with us after we did it. But there were only a select couple of people that knew before we actually went to the courthouse and got married. So that's why I say no and yes at the same time. But essentially, no, it wasn't a secret. It wasn't something we were just married and people didn't know that we were married. I feel like for the most part, most people knew. Our parents knew. Our parents told people. We told people. We were just excited about it, to be completely honest. So keeping it to ourselves did not seem possible for us during that time. The very next question is, what did the ceremony look like? This was something I was so confused about. Before we got married, I was like, oh, what is it like? What would a ceremony look like if I'm already married? Just what does it look like? I couldn't understand. But I will say, I asked people who was in a similar situation. I looked it up online the best way I could. And the way that we decided to do it was still have the regular ceremony, as if we had we're not married at all. We said our vows. It wasn't the same thing that we did at the courthouse. The courthouse, they make you say certain vows, and while we didn't write our vows, we still had different vows that we said at our actual ceremony. So it was nice. It felt a lot more intimate, and I don't know, we didn't have any, it wasn't a vow renewal, which is the next question. Was it a vow renewal? No, it was a regular ceremony. It was everything that you would see in a wedding regularly, in the ceremony, is what we had. We had the vow renewal. We had my dad give me away. We had also, what did we do? We did a sand ceremony. Now I present to you Mr. and Mrs. We did all the steps that you have in a ceremony. So that is what we did. It worked out fine. I was happy. I got it because that's what I wanted. I got it. So yeah, worked out fine. The biggest difference with our ceremony was that you didn't necessarily, well, for us in the state that we're in, you didn't necessarily have to have someone ordained do it. So that kind of left the door open for more people. Like, for instance, if I wanted to get like somebody close in my family who wasn't ordained, I could have just asked them to do it. We ended up having a friend do it who was a minister. So it was just great to kind of like get a lot more people involved in the wedding that maybe we wouldn't usually be able to. Okay, guys, so the next question was about name change. Like, when did I change my name? I'm guessing is the question. And I changed my name a little bit later. I think I had this illusion. I don't know if y'all do, but I literally had this illusion that like once I got married, my name would change. Or I didn't know all the steps. Like I knew it was something I had to do, but it was like so many steps. It felt like to like change my name, to change my driver's license, change my social security card, and get my birth certificate. Like so many different things to like change my last name. So I changed it like several months later, but the only reason I did that was because I was living in a different state. I had just moved to a brand new state, and I just had to figure out the process for that state. And like because it wasn't just changing my name, it was like my driver's license now had to change because now I'm becoming a resident. Like it was so many different things to like put into place. So it was like a couple months after I actually got married when I like legally changed my name. That was exciting. I think like the name change, it really hit me like, oh my goodness. And I went somewhere, like sidebar for a second, I went somewhere, I think to the eye doctor, and they said like my last name, my married name for the first time, and I was like, me? Like I was so excited. So changing my name was like a really exciting moment that I did a couple months later after I got married. The next question is, when did I change my name on social media? So that's the next question. At that time, I was not on social media like that at all. Like I had an Instagram page, but I never used it. I was really taking like a hiatus from social media. It had been like a year or a year and a half or something since the last time I was on social media. So I can't really answer that question too much. When I did get back on social media, I was married. So what was I got back on around the time that we had the wedding. So maybe I didn't really share it with social media until the actual wedding, but I think it was just like such a exciting moment that I just wanted to share that as well. So I didn't share it immediately on social media, but I did share like when we had our wedding and put those moments up there. So the one thing about name change that was confusing to me was when we were sending out the invitations, because my name was already my married last name, and I was confused because I was like, what if my family, like, you know, people you don't talk to every single day, don't know my, like, who it's coming from? Like, they're like, who is this? So that part was a little confusing of like, do I just put my maiden name up on the envelope? And I know that might be something so simple, but I really was trying to figure out what to do. And I think I ended up putting like my maiden name at that time, or I can't remember, but I think I ended up not stressing it too much because I was like, you know, they're gonna open the card and see my picture and then figure out like who it's from and all of those things. So that was a piece that was confusing at first, like, wait, they're not gonna know who this is. But I'm like, but I mean, if you get an envelope, you're gonna just open it and you know my first name. So yeah, it wasn't, that was the only part about the name that I remember getting a little confused about. Okay guys, so another quick question is, what day do you count as your actual anniversary? And I will say the day that I count as my actual anniversary is the day that we went to the courthouse and we got married legally. So like that is the day that I feel like I count as my actual anniversary. But I will say we still celebrate the day of our wedding. So that date is coming up soon, and we still like will be planning something small to do on that day. And just to celebrate our union, like it was still really special because we became one, like in front of our family and our friends. So we still take time to celebrate that day. Some people still tell us happy anniversary on that day. And I don't know, like I really enjoyed that day as well. So we still celebrate it. And then in October, which is the day we actually got married legally, I celebrate that day. Well, we celebrate that day as well. Typically we'll do something bigger for our anniversary in October, which is the day that we went downtown and legally got married. So essentially we celebrate both days. But we realized that our actual anniversary, or we see our actual anniversary as the day that we got married legally in downtown. That is a day that we see as our actual anniversary, and the day that we really go like all out, and the day that we like count it as another year of being married. Hopefully that makes sense. But celebrate both. The day that we legally got married is the day that we celebrate as our actual anniversary. Someone asked, how long after your civil marriage did you have the wedding? So we had our wedding 8 months later. So we got married and then we planned our wedding within 8 months. We had a couple things planned already. Like, we knew the venue, we already put a deposit down for the venue, but that, when I said couple, that was it. Because we were just like moving and it was so many different things going on. So we got married in October, and then maybe in about January, February, we started actually planning the wedding and taking a couple more steps to plan it. And then that next June is when we had the wedding. So essentially it was about an 8-month difference, but we didn't plan it that whole time. But yeah, it was about 8 months apart. And it was nice. Like, we were still like newlyweds and enjoying being married while still planning the wedding. So that was a little tricky. Like, after the wedding, it was nice just to like woosah for a second and just like be married and not plan anything. But I think planning the wedding right after we got married was like kind of nice to push us closer together, have those hard conversations, all those different things. And I will say this for sure, like having the wedding and ceremony later allowed me to not have so many emotions towards the wedding and cause us to like spin crazy because of the emotion. So that is one benefit that I did see. But yeah, essentially to answer the question, it was 8 months later. Another question is, did you have any family there when you guys got married? The answer to that question is no, we did not. We could not figure out what to do. We couldn't figure out who to have there. We just could not figure it out because we were like, do we have our parents? And then if we do parents, we need to do this person, this person, this person. And then if I have a friend, then how would my husband? Like, it was just so many things to put into place. So we decided we were just gonna go just us, and then our family, everyone would get to celebrate our union at our wedding. So no, we didn't have any family there at all. It was just me and my husband, and it turned out to be really nice. It was a really special moment still. I talk about it so much more in depth in my past video, but it was a really, really nice special day, even though it was just me and him, and I loved it. Like, I just remember the feeling of leaving out the courthouse and being like, oh my gosh, I'm a wife, like I'm married. Like, it was just so nice, to be completely honest. Next question is, what did you wear? And I wore something that was really chill. Like, we had recently that morning taken our engagement photos. I'm telling you, everything was super fast for us. The engagement was quick, everything. So we were about to get married and we're like, we haven't even taken engagement photos. So we took engagement photos that very same day, which turned out to be really special. And for one of the looks, I had on like a dressier dress, and then I changed into jeans and like a dressy top and like some little small heels. They weren't like big heels, like sandal heels. I don't know. Maybe I'll insert a picture somewhere. But I had on jeans essentially and like a dressier top, and that was it. And I'm glad that I did that, because the courthouse that I went to, it just would have felt like a lot. Like, no one was there at all. It was just us. It wasn't many people there because we went like on a Friday early in the morning. It wasn't a bunch of people at all. So I think it was perfect. I was comfortable. I think it worked out well. And I didn't feel like I had to wear like a white dress or anything. And that was an area of confusion for me. I remember being like, should I wear a white dress? Should I be dressy? Should he be like in a suit? Like, what should it look like? But he had on jeans. I had on jeans. I think it worked out good. We really didn't feel the need to dress up any more than we were dressed up that day. So yeah, it worked out well, honestly. And I think that's the end of the questions that I have. All right, guys, so I hope this answered some of your questions about like our wedding ceremony and postponing our wedding and all of that. So I hope it answered some of your questions. I also did a video about like the budget and how much we spent for our actual wedding. You guys should definitely check that out if you're looking for a way to have like a budget-friendly wedding. And yeah, I hope that this helped you guys in some way. I know that like now's a time where you may want to postpone your wedding because of like everything that's going on. I'm not really sure. I know people are starting to have more weddings now, but I hope that this answered your questions in some way. I am so happy with like how things turned out for us and also how our wedding turned out. So if you have questions, just let me know, or if you have like videos that you want to see from me, just leave those suggestions down below. Thank you so much for staying till the very end of this video. It means a lot to me, and it also just helps out my channel so much. So thank you guys. All right, guys, so thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my very next video. Bye, guys.